Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on News Radio 1040 WHO.
The new survey says the average American knows if it's going to be a bad day by 8:36 in the morning. Okay, if you know that, is there any way of turning that around? Well, here's an expert in overcoming adversity. He's the author of a book called Absolution, The Dark Path to Light. That is Scott Allen Curley, who's on the Davison Family Dentistry Newsmaker line. Scott, welcome to WHO Radio. Good morning.
Man, thank you so much for having me.
All right, Scott, if I'm thinking, oh, man, this is going to be a bad day by 8:36, is there any turning it around, and what do I need to do to course correct?
So many different techniques that can be used, and one of the ones that I use a lot, pretty much daily, is that I give myself permission to feel my feelings, but at the same time, I give myself an expiration point. So if I'm starting out with a bad day or things are going in the wrong direction, then I'll give myself permission to have a 10-minute pity party, possibly, but I'll put an expiration time on it, and then we move on with being productive and conquering the world.
Well, Scott, here's why I agree totally with you, because I used to be that kind of guy that I thought that feeling down was a failure. And, I just wanted to be cheery all the time and upbeat. Life is good. I'm with you. I recently just discovered this, that like if you let yourself wallow a little bit, for lack of a better term, you actually feel better after you allow yourself to do that. Why does that work?
That's because feelings are valid, and no one should ever tell us how we should or should not feel. We feel what we feel. Now, what we can control, because we can't control how we feel, but we can control our attitudes and our own behavior. So, again, as I stated earlier, if you feel a certain way, give yourself permission to feel those feelings out, but don't allow them to perpetuate and just ruin the entire day. But you do have to go ahead and go through the process of feeling them.
Scott Allen Curley on News Radio 1040 WHO. So, Scott, I think you broached this topic earlier, but I'm going to go back to when you said give yourself a deadline, because let's say it's 8:36. That's awfully early in the morning, and you think it's going to be a bad day. And now you really can put yourself in a downward spiral for the day. So that seems like your deadline concept tries to take care of that.
100%, because many times opportunities come at us in disguise, and some of the worst things that happen to us and some of the worst moments that we define as being bad sometimes open the door for some of the best things. The worst thing that ever happened to me was being rendered homeless, but had I not been rendered homeless, I would not have started the business that I own and operate now and be where I am now. So just because we're dealing with a moment that is uncomfortable, it does not necessarily mean that it's a bad thing.
Scott Allen Curley, the book is called Absolution, The Dark Path to Light. As he said, he has a great history to talk about this kind of stuff with us this morning. Scott, thanks very much for talking to us.